Thanks for everyone for joining. My name is Mike King. I'm Senior Vice President of Sales for Healthcare for North America for Mastek. I've been with the organization about 8.5 years and been in the ecosystem 20 plus. And with me, I have Sammy. Sammy, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, I'm Samiullah Rahmatullah. I'm a provider practice lead. I have over 2 decades of experience in this industry.
And then we have with us Derek Stevens from LHC Group. Derek, you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely, Mike. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining. Look forward to contributing. I'm with LHC for about 5.5 years. Prior to that, at IBM for about 20 plus years. So thrilled to be here today.
Next slide. So the objectives of today's webinar, we want to really provide to you the value of migrating to Oracle Fusion Cloud. We want to share the experience that Derek will share from a large customer's transformation to the cloud. We want to share with you the value of Mastek's technology and approach of migrating to Oracle Cloud. And then we want to offer you a free assessment of your environment where we can come in and provide a roadmap to value for you. Next slide. Here's our table of contents agenda. We're going to have a quick introduction on the company and talk about some current healthcare trends around the cloud. Then we're going to have Derek present on the transformation that LHC had on moving to the cloud. And then we're going to talk about our Glide program and how it can help you get there. Next slide. So Mastek, as an organization, we're 40 years old. We've done over 1,300 Oracle Fusion Cloud implementations. The healthcare vertical is our top vertical. We've got over 185 clients that we've done Oracle Fusion Cloud work for. We're a full service SI. We can implement anything Oracle has, we implement and have implemented. We've won a number of awards from Oracle based on our performance, which we're very proud of. Next slide. And then the analysts also recognize us. And this one is from the Everest Group. They just recently did a study, and we came out as top 5 in the world for Oracle Cloud service providers. And of the group that's on this list, we're the only ones that focuses only on Oracle. So again, we're very, very proud of that. Next slide. Now I'll turn it over to Sammy to talk about trends and drivers in the healthcare vertical. Sammy?
Thank you, Mike. Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Great, thank you. So great to have you all here. We'll explore the key trends shaping the cloud adoption, the business drivers behind this shift, and how the cloud technology is enabling the better patient outcomes and cost efficiencies, right? So we'll start with the buzzing words, the Gen AI, artificial intelligence, etc. Now, with this predictive analytics, AI-driven disease prediction and population health, with all these Gen AI-powered automation things, all these things are transforming the patient care and hospital operations. The key driver behind this is raising patient expectations. Another key driver is the consumerization of health. Every business wants to show them competitive, different from others. So the cloud helps them to accelerate and roll out the new features, the new technologies in a rapid development phase, right? And the cloud native open APIs allows hospitals, tech companies, providers, insurance to connect with ease and provide the best patient-centric solutions. And another important key driver is the cyber threats, the evolving cyber threats, right? So it needs an enhanced security and compliance to make a system safe, right? So the leading cloud platforms have built-in compliance that ensures that the patient health information, PHI information remains secure all times. And it is driven by AI-driven encryption, AI-driven monitoring, and automated security responses make cloud-based solutions more resilient against attack, right? That's why the cloud is having more favor than an on-premises. We can go to the next slide, Mike. We are going to see why the Oracle Fusion tends to be more favorable over Peoplesoft or Lawson kind of products. Right, so Oracle Fusion being a cloud solution, this alone gives an edge in terms of flexibility and scalability. And the Fusion is built with more modern architecture that integrates better across modules, and it does this more work smoothly. And the user interface, right, it's more intuitive compared to the clunkier and more complex setups of the older systems. Customizing Fusion is also easier, and it has concept of flex fields and drag and drop concepts, which makes the minimal development efforts, gives more control to business to customize the business processes. Oracle Fusion is a game changer, as it comes with AI-driven automation, cost savings, and operational efficiencies. There are quite a few parameters based on which I have compared, but I will, instead of talking of all, I'll probably pick up few, right? I'll probably pick up the supply chain. The supply chain, how do we reduce waste and optimize costs? The usual AI-generated demand forecast is now improved to a dual mode AI-generated demand forecasting, where it does the demand forecasting based on the trends and also based on the real-time clinical data by connecting EHRs. So it predicts stock that needs for medical supplies, PPEs, raw materials, and etc., helping the hospitals to avoid or minimize the cut emergency supply shortages by nearly 35%. And it also recommends the best suppliers based on the pricing, the lead time, and the reliability. And the IoT-based asset monitoring helps monitoring the MRI, CT scans, medical drivers, and etc. And it predicts the failures ahead of time so that before it happens. Another example could be workforce management. The usual workforce management comes up with a shift schedule based on the trends. Now with having this solution in cloud and having connected to EHR, it has a real-time insights of the clinical data. It knows how many patients are in the ICU critical unit, how many patients are in the post-acute care. So it gives suggestions of what kind of shifts are needed for the physician and nurses based on the real-time data. And it also provides chatbots using which the physicians, the nurses, and the patients can do a conversational language to solve their problems. Like they can understand what happened to their bill, they can understand what happened to this patient, and etc. So the AI chatbot and conversational languages making this experience better for them. And another example could be the financial cost, right? So before this cloud and AI and etc., the reconciliation, month-end reconciliation are the manual task. Now it has an AI automated reconciliation. That means the manual work is almost cut down. It comes up with the discrepancies by itself. And when it comes to invoices to purchase orders, it cuts down the invoice processing by 60% because it does the automated matching and shows up the differences. And in fraud detection, the AI flags the suspicious transaction instantly to avoid any financial risks, right? In today's it is not about managing operations, but it's optimizing the operations. The companies that embrace AI, analytics, and automation are the ones that reduce costs, improve efficiency, and stay ahead of the competition. Can you go to the next slide? This is about the trend, where the industries usually used to be and where the cloud is taking to them, right? So change is not just happening, it is actually happening faster than ever. In terms of regulations are shifting, technology is advancing, expectations are rising, right? So that's exactly why Oracle Fusion delivers continuous AI-driven updates every quarter. Oracle Fusion ensures the organizations always running on the latest technology, staying compliant, and optimizing efficiency automatically. Through this, our finance gets smarter, the supply chain gets sharper, and HR gets faster. The future belongs to those who leverage technology to drive better business outcomes. Can I go to the next slide, Mike? So I'll hand it over to Derek now.
Excellent. Thank you, Sammy, for that insight. I know very much appreciated. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today and provide some real-world examples of how all that sort of comes to be after you make some of those decisions for change. So I think we can go right to the next chart. I'll jump right in. For those that aren't familiar with LHC Group, we're a large, probably one of the largest home health providers. We have about 38 states, over 400 unique companies within the LHC umbrella, 900 or so locations. But what's also interesting, we're as much an acquisition company as we are a healthcare company. We continue to acquire companies every month. And those that are following in the press, we were acquired by Optum, part of United Healthcare Group, back in February of 2023, and we're continuing to grow. From an understanding of our history and our journey with Oracle, we conducted an RFP with many different suppliers. We landed on 2, Oracle and Workday. We down selected to Oracle and made a decision. And I recall November, Thanksgiving of 2020, I was actually on vacation, and I spent the vacation actually in a hotel room working with Oracle on the terms and conditions. Well, the girlfriend at the time was at the pool. Needless to say, when we finished that trip, she was no longer my girlfriend. She realized I worked too much. So that's an interesting tidbit on me and the amount of work it took to get that over the goal line. But in any event, it was exciting to make that decision in 2020. And the following month, we landed on Mastek for our provider and SI. And then we really started the work in January of 2021 and went live in 2022. My role was managing the development of the business case, the RP process, both for the platform and the SI. And then I had the short straw, which I enjoyed grabbing, and did the actual delivery of all those releases over a 2-year period. Mentioned earlier, I was with IBM for about 20 years in different transformation roles. I was in software development and service, corporate marketing, corporate communications, had the opportunity to manage many parts of the IBM Global Web Presence. And then I started working with Fortune 100 clients, helping them do their transformation across their different channels. All right, let's jump right into more about the Oracle implementation. Next chart, please. All right, so when we purchased Oracle during COVID, we effectively went through the Oracle marketplace and took everything off the shelves and put in our shopping cart and checked out. Everything from ERP, HCM, you see many of the modules listed here regarding all the ERP financial elements. We also did supply chain. We implemented the supplier portal, contracts module, the inventory module. Not that we're so much an inventory-based manufacturing company, but that we had, because of the industry and PPE type of accessories, we had to manage the equipment our clinical resources needed. We did the EPM budgeting. We did the risk module. We also did HCM, core HR, talent, performance management. Also excited that we went through and implemented not just through ORC, the recruiting talent module, but we also recently implemented the updated recruiting booster as well. Payroll, time and labor. And we also built some custom pass elements with the help from Mastek to support our unique pay practices. To enable the platform, we also had to connect to all the other things we had before, plus some new ones. And so we had over 200 integrations that go through either ORC or Boomi or both. And then we have quite a few electronic medical record systems that we need to connect to that we had to integrate as well. Thrilled that we also selected Oracle Guided Learning, so it's much more contextual-based help versus traditional classroom-based type training for the users, because we have a high rate of change in the employee staffing given the industry. Also have purchased and have Oracle Digital Assistant. So a bunch of modules, but there's also a lot of change. We didn't want to just take our current processes, put it on a new platform and expect a different result. We did a lot of process transformation along the way with the help from Mastek and our business stakeholders. After you go live, there's hypercare, of course, but there's also continuous improvements, enhancements. And we're on a 7-year journey with Mastek, continuing on our day 2 support and the new changes that we implement on a monthly basis. So that's a quick highlight, Reader's Digest, 100-mile-an-hour version of everything we implemented in 2 years. It wasn't as easy as I just shared it, but you get through some amazing things together with the right partners. All right, next chart. All right, this is sort of like the timeline on a page. Again, the party started in January of actually doing all the resource requirements gathering, building the traceability matrix, RTM, solution design documents, reporting documents, and all the fun things to go live in January. We went live with the majority of the ERP elements. Then soon after, we did some of the HCM elements around talent, performance, and how we manage our development plans. We had an interim release there just a month later. It was a unique module around the EPM pieces and project costing that was implemented in July of 2022. We made a design change in March of 2023, changing how we're going to, how we structure the PSUs and TRUs for how the taxing elements are managed in the system. And that was a pretty big change, a technical change, a business decision change that required us to implement that first. We chose to do that separately versus roll it into the largest release, which was June of 2023, which was all the HR, recruiting, and some of those payroll related pieces in June of 2023. We were acquired in February of 2023, a few months earlier, but we continue with, of course, our release. Just because you get acquired, you don't change systems overnight. So we continued on our journey. We continue to have our instance of Oracle, but what's exciting is UHG also selected Oracle for their HCM related pieces. And so they're on their journey now to implement Oracle HCM, and they're scheduled to go live in June of this year. And then LAC is intended to move to their instance this December. Awesome. All right, so move on to the next chart. Keeping us moving along. Okay, reason for change. I'm sure this is pretty much table stakes. Everyone has their reasons. Obviously, we wanted to sunset many of our premise-based elements and solutions, including Lawson. We were a big chrono shop, expensive, and wanted to sunset that as well. How we manage is, time tracking and all the fun things we do at our different locations. So a lot of expense, technical debt we wanted to remove. We wanted to transform our processes and adopt some of these things that are automatically enabled within the system. Try to get more, configuration versus customization on those processes and systems to support it. Of course, there's best practices that come with the platform. And of course, just increase mobility and self-service capabilities that we didn't have in our current systems. Of course, we expect and received, improvements in, security and business risk within a SaaS-based platform. But at the end of the day, we need to be able to scale based on our growth targets, both inorganic and organic, and ensure we deliver on the business case that had all the financials behind it to support this decision. All right, moving along. Next chart, please. All right, so from a program perspective, we really want to ensure we had some key tenets, that everything we did ensure that we had certain things that we wanted to ensure we delivered, which of course is simplicity for our users, efficiency in our processes, and ensure we're delivering excellence. So again, there's a lot of words behind here, but at the end of the day, it was real critical for us to make sure we all aligned what our core tenets were for the business case. And then as we got into the program, if you go to the next chart, making sure we understood what are our guiding principles to ensure realization. You're managing many different resources, different teams, different suppliers. And so you want to ensure you have some consistent guiding principles for the program itself. And of course, we had consistent alignment on, hey, making sure we're simplifying and standardizing, doing as much out of the box that we can. Of course, transforming the business, looking at how we can do things cheaper, faster, better. Very important that we have this accountable governance, the steer codes and the different ways we organize the different teams doing all the work, because there's a lot of things that can in fact be done separately, but a lot of coordination is required. And you know how you manage your blockers and issues and timeline dynamics, because everyone has competing priorities, not just within your own organization, but within all the suppliers you're using, to make sure that those integrations, those updates are made in a time that you need for your cycles, testing cycles. Clear and consistent communications. Organizational change management, all the things underneath that umbrella around communications and training are extremely critical to ensure you're moving, you're sharing your quick wins, building cadence, because it's a big change for the business. And I think you all have heard the saying that culture eats change, and so you really have to ensure you're embracing change, you're communicating that change and getting the buy-in. And the adoption for the new users. We implemented a change champion network to make sure we had early adopters and told people and showed people what was coming down the pipe. So when it happened, it made it a much more smoother experience. All right, moving along to get some of the other key elements. This is sort of like solution on a page. You see things in gray that we had with our existing platforms and systems. And of course, we need to make sure we deliver all of those capabilities in the new world. But within the same price point, we actually delivered a lot of new things that we did not have before. And those are the items that are in blue that were not capabilities that we had in a robust fashion prior to moving to Oracle. So much more for the same price point is sort of where we were able to deliver. All righty, I won't go through line by line, but we'll go on to the next chart, get into some of the more important elements, right? So this is, I guess, like a solution on a page of, hey, we had Lawson in the past. We had a lot of things we're connecting to it. This is really illustrative. There's quite a few other things that are not even on this chart, but we really need to get our heads around of, what all was connecting to Lawson. Being a smaller company, and there was not this same level of documentation that you would expect within a Fortune 100 company on these different systems. And so we had to really uncover and validate what was going to be in scope, what could we decommission, and there's some things we had to refactor, redesign. And then of course, there was quite a few new things we added, but it was critical, and part of this process is just understanding the different integration points for your current system so you can define and make sure you don't miss anything in the future state. Next chart. Of course, key for the business case is understanding not just the hard benefits of, hey, looking at your current expense with your third-party suppliers, your current staffing, things that you have the ability to quickly measure and manage, but then getting your arms around what are some of those softer benefits and expectations that you're going to receive by having new systems, new processes. And so it's critical. This is illustrated. These are not our actual numbers. Those have been modified, but the intent was, hey, conservatively, what did we think we're going to get from a benefits perspective, both hard and soft benefits? And, what do we think we'll be able to commit to from a business perspective? And then, hey, there's a stretch goal of what we think we can do. Let's measure and monitor and see what we can get to there. So it's critical to really get this done for the business case type of work, understand what those benefit opportunities are within your organization. Next chart, another key piece, once you have those benefits, understanding what your cost points are for those investments you're going to have to make, is understanding the cash flow implications. What can you capitalize in future years? What do you have to expense in this year? And then understanding, when are you going to see that ROI? Now that shows up a little bit gray on my screen, by the way. I don't know if it's just loading, but fortunately, I sort of knew that page and that content was coming. That's a little bit grayed out. So hopefully the next chart will come up a little bit more clear for you. And I presume these materials will be made available for those that requested. All right, so let's go on to the next chart. There we go. So at the end of the day, this is sort of like the Oracle Cloud view. These are the things and the capabilities that we received, and these are sort of the key elements that we did, in fact, implement. It is extremely valuable having everything in one environment at a high level. There's so much interoperability. Just for example, the integrated journeys where you're onboarding, and then when they actually become employees, how does that experience get shared consistently from, hey, I have a job offer or job opportunity, they apply, and seeing that consistent experience and the visibility, the reporting. So having everything underneath this one platform has been a tremendous value for LHC. All right, so the next chart, we go over to that one. This is just a summary of those lead lessons learned. And as you can imagine, there's quite a few when you go through a large scale transformation. But it's like share just a few highlights. I mean, the first, of course, is to have a plan, a very detailed work effort-based plan. I think just the last release alone had 3,000 lines of tasks that we were tracking, and ensure that, you understand what you're trying to accomplish. It's great if you get it down to the 2-3 day, work-based efforts. But, for us, it was just too much level of detail. So every week we knew what we had to accomplish for the week, and make sure we track and hold people accountable to that plan. Critical to have these tools, the RAID, the RACES, the work breakdown units, a lot of acronyms, a lot of things that you need to manage within the plan. So definitely make sure you have a robust model for that. It was also critical to get these seasoned industry practitioners. It's great. The SIs will do whatever you ask them to do. The bad news is they'll do whatever you ask them to do, and it might not be the best thing to do. So really good to have, way you do things today, way that the product can work, and then have, either practitioners directly on your team or have your phone a friend support of how you're going to get other input. The good news is a lot of people have already been on this journey, and I know during our transformation, I was reaching out to those that we had in our reference calls and say, hey, how did you do that? Or I attend Oracle World and meet some other Oracle customers, and they provided insights of how they engage or how they solve some of these challenges. So critical to get those experts in the equation. OCM, I think we all go through these large transformation efforts, and you do your design, develop, test, and deploy. And OCM is trying to keep up. They're trying to do the communications and training and making sure you guys are ready. They need to be there at the beginning, and you can't just sort of push everything at the end when you get ready down to your go, no-go decisions, and push everything on that team. Make sure they're staffed appropriately, and you schedule their time as schedule is required. Everyone talks about configuration versus customization. It's another thing to do it. You really have to hold yourself accountable to this, question everything. It's very easy to get another fast formula or add a little feature function there, but next thing you know, you have your quarter releases and things change. You got to do additional regression testing and all those customization elements. So really critical to try to hold the ground there as best you can with your business users. We implemented the first releases all remote. It was during COVID. And there's a lot of learnings during that dynamic. We all did a lot of transformation in the past. We get these big war rooms. Everyone flies in on Mondays, leaves on Thursdays, and you get a lot done in person. There's a lot of pros and cons with working remote, especially when we're doing those upfront cycles on requirements gathering and people are signing off on requirements documents. But when you get to your playbacks and they actually see it, they go, oh, I didn't know I signed off on that, or hey, there's this change that I think I need to make. And so, when people are remote, they're time slicing, they might be distracted. You really got some extra, processes to put in place to manage those remote meetings. Still great to have a blend of on-site meetings now that, COVID is behind us effectively at a high level. You get those on-site meetings, make sure they're productive, especially when you're in your end-to-end testing cycles and playbacks. Next chart. And I think this might be my final chart. So, hey, commitment to change. Everyone goes in with the, expectations they will change, but then, business will make some decisions. Hey, we have to have this report. We have to do it this way. Great example is on the reporting capability and analytics capability within Oracle. Users are used to getting a report, dumping it into a spreadsheet, doing their analysis, and finding what I call the needle in the haystacks. You have brilliant people on your teams that are great at finding the needle in the haystacks, but it's great to have that needle found for you and leveraging some newer capabilities. So critical to really be committed to change. HR data, we had a lot of opportunity in our data to get it clean, and we did many mock data migration efforts and realized it wasn't clean no matter how often we tried. So making sure you have the right checks and balances in place to really get that information in great shape for your data migration efforts. Something we did towards the end, which we did more of, is just the capabilities around autocomplete rules. Removes a lot of the errors from the equation, from the user input. So really, you do your research on autocomplete rules with your partner. End to end, my gosh, testing. What an opportunity there. You get your arms around your test scripts and you have your different testing cycles. But during that end to end, you really need to make sure you're looking at those unhappy paths. Those negative test case scenarios, you can never have enough of those. And you really need to continue to brainstorm and make sure you have every worst case scenario figured out, because as soon as you go live, they will come out and you'll have to work through them. Third parties, you're going to have a lot of dependencies on your banks, to do a lot of the financial elements and gosh, the APs, the Bank of Americas, and of course, all the ones that support you for HR as well. They're not on your schedule. And they're usually the long pole in the tent. So making sure what's really made us successful was we had executive sponsorship early with our suppliers and gave them engagement and make sure the right people and checkpoints and work through that. We had over 200 integrations, and it was quite a bit to manage. You can manage your own schedule, but managing your partners is another. So really put some energy around that. We had to go digital given that we're all remote, and we leverage Microsoft Teams. We have DevOps for RAID and other things, of course, SharePoints and all that. It's a new world, embrace it. It's going to definitely be critical for you, the remote workforce that will be engaged. All right, I think if we go, that is it for me. Again, I try to cover a lot in a short period of time that I was allocated. I'm sure there's much more information and experience that I could have shared, but hopefully that was helpful. I'll hand it back over to Mike.
Thanks, Derek. Really appreciate that. That's some really good learnings and insight you gave us. And as we said before, this is recorded, so you can certainly go back and see the presentation and get into more details at a later date. So again, thanks a lot, Derek. I just wanted to take a few minutes here to talk about Glide 4.0, our framework to accelerate business AI transformation and innovation. Next slide. We have basically put a methodology together to take clients like yourself off of Peoplesoft, Lawson, and EBS to the cloud. We specifically designed it that way to make it efficient and effective. We've come up with accelerators that are part of the process that help take advantage of business practices, pre-built accelerators, engineering automation kits, data migration kits, et cetera. So we've done a lot. We've done a lot of these transformation deals. And again, as Derek shared, there's a lot that goes on about doing this. Among this Glide framework, though, one of the big pieces here is phase one that I wanted to talk about, and it's the assessment. And that's something we're offering to clients like yourself for free, where we basically come in and do a study of your environment and come back with ultimately a roadmap on how you move to the cloud. It's extremely comprehensive as far as what you get, and we've had a lot of success doing this with our clients. Next slide. As far as the assessment output is concerned, here's what you're going to get. You're going to get a current landscape snapshot. You're going to get cloud capabilities. How capable are you to move? Key structure analysis, RICE analysis, key master and transaction data volumes are going to come out, which are really important to see where you're doing it. And proposed landscape and a recommended approach, which is the most important piece you're going to get. And basically, it doesn't take any time on your part. We come in and we have a tool, next slide, where we come in and access your data, and it's your configuration, it's not any of your protected data. And what we do from that is we take that information, and then we're able to put together a deliverable from that, which you get these functions out of it. And it takes us about 2 hours to present that back to you. And again, we've had great success with clients using this, and it really gives you a lot of information, whether you move to the cloud or not, or Oracle Fusion. It gives you a good baseline on what you need to do and where you need to go. Next slide. This is just a sample of the tool. What it also will pull out is where you've done customizations and how customized your on-prem solution is, because we need to know that. Next slide. It'll also map your current modules to the cloud modules in Fusion and where that needs to be moved to. So again, a lot of good information comes out of this, and we'd welcome the opportunity to participate. It's something that we do remote, so we don't need to be on site to do this. And it takes about 2 weeks to turn this around. Next slide. Next slide. So if you look at the value of the assessment, you're going to understand your existing landscape. That includes customizations. You're going to look at the cloud capability of your compatibility of your current configuration. We're going to give you a roadmap on how you move, right? So you're going to get some good information around that. We're going to give you user analysis by module. So you're going to be able to see by module where your users are using the applications and where they're not. And then we do a lot around key master and transactional data analysis. So you're going to be able to see where you're getting your high volume transactions and where they're coming from. Next slide. The last thing I want to touch on here is on our implementation side, what we have done, and this is something you get from Oracle Fusion, is AI. We have embedded a lot of AI capabilities in our implementation process. This is our roadmap for doing that. This is something we're extremely focused on, and we're aggressively moving. This just shows you release 1, release 2, and future releases. We're already using this in current implementations, and the feedback has been great. This is going to help reduce the time to do implementations. It's going to increase the quality of implementations, and it's going to reduce the cost. All great benefits. The other thing is Fusion affords you is that's where a lot of Oracle R&D is going, billions of dollars, obviously. And one thing they're investing in heavily in the product is AI. And we've already implemented a number of AI capabilities with our clients that are part of the Oracle Fusion solution. And we have that in every one of our implementations. That's a key deliverable, is turning on and making sure the AI features of Oracle Fusion are in play and working. So again, exciting stuff, and that's something you get from a cloud solution like Oracle Fusion that is just not going to be as aggressive from an on-prem side. Next slide. So just in summary, we've talked about the value of migrating to Fusion Cloud. We've got great learnings from Derek around LHC and their experience on moving off on-prem loss into the cloud. We touched on the value of our technology and approach on migrating to the cloud. And again, I go back to the fact that we want to offer you a free assessment of your environment to give you a roadmap. So with that, I'll open it up to questions. Palak, I don't know if we have any or not, but you're on mute, Palak.
Sorry. Thanks. Yes, thank you, Mike. We do have a couple of questions, and I will like to ask those across. So the first question I have, and I think this is for Derek, what has been the largest benefits you have seen from moving to cloud?
Well, let's sort of put everything into one sentence or one group. Gosh, it's consistency of the processes, the user experience, and our infrastructure. So it's sort of a 3-in-1 answer, but there was benefits across all 3 of those key pillars.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question.
The next one, I think this, Mike, you can take it. It says, how long does the assessment will take?
Yeah. So basically, it starts out where we get we use our tool to get an extract of your configuration, and that's about a 20-minute process to get that data. And then what we do is we take that information, and again, there's no, it's none of the data that's protected or anything along those lines. And we take that information, and it takes us about 2 weeks of analysis to come back and really put together this deliverable that we give to you that has that contents that I shared. And it takes about 2 hours to present that back. And like I said, we've done that many times, and our clients have really gotten a lot of value out of it. They've gotten value whether they moved or not. It's a good way to help you build a business case, because you're going to get a lot of information that'll help you do that.
Thank you, Mike. I think the next one is for Derek. Derek, a viewer has asking that how did you handle change management to your move from loss into cloud or Oracle Cloud?
Yeah, great question. The LEC did not have an experience or the resources in-house to provide that. So with a combination of resources from Mastek and some third-party suppliers, we brought in OCM experts to help us along that journey. We implemented Change Champion Network. So, we have about 2,000 people across the 32,000 people in the organization that we tapped on within those different locations to engage early and get their feedback and message. But, there was a large piece of work on the Oracle Guided Learning that helped ensure that there was a smooth transition. There was a lot of materials and knowledge articles created that we put into our learning environment, so people can go to like one place to find everything to know about how to do something. So we create a lot of new assets as well. So the great thing we did is we brought good people in to help us to solve that, because we didn't have the capabilities in-house.
Great. I have one last question, and I think Mike, this is for you. It says, how many on-prem to cloud projects have you done as a Mastek, and how the consulting organization? So, sorry, 2 questions in one.
That's okay. We've done about 120. So we've done a lot of, PeopleSoft, Lawson, even EBS to the cloud solutions. And as far as our size of organization, we've got about 2,600 people that focus on Oracle consultants around the world, which is significant. And our organization company size is about 6,000. So we're a good size organization, and we're there to support you where needed.
Perfect. Great. So with that, I think we're at the end of our webinar. One announcement I would like to make is that Mastek is going to be at the HIMSS conference. I know most of you in the healthcare conference or healthcare sector do attend that. This conference is happening from March 4th to 6th, and it's at the Venetian in Las Vegas. Mastek is hosting a happy hour on the March 4th in the evening. I'll type my information across if anyone of you are interested or if you are there attending HIMSS conference, definitely let me know and I'm happy to send you an invite across. I'm also posting Mike's email address in the chat if you are interested, Mike King's address in the chat, if you are interested in our free glide assessment.
Great.
Well, I wanted to thank you all, Mike, Derek, and Sammy for joining, and the rest of our audience. Thank you for joining and spending 45 minutes of your time, a busy time, taking out of your calendar, and then share that with us. We are really happy about it, and I hope that you found this webinar interesting and useful. Again, our email address and our contact information is there. Feel free to reach out to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.